Well, I got a good chunk of the way on this. Kind of time things within the hour by figuring out what I could. Got about 10 minutes left here in the hour to explain what is written down. This is going to be a hell of a stretch exercise. He's tapping a lot of diminished stuff, so you're going to have a lot of minor third intervals going on with that left hand. So I definitely cannot play this tapping stuff up to speed. I don't know it well enough to be able to fly through it. But it's straight 16th notes for the most part. Well, all through the tapping part until the third line where you're tapping the 21 and you're also bending. So it doesn't really matter where you're bending up from on the left hand when you get to the 21st fret being tapped and bent. There's no way you can get up to that fret to bend it without tapping. It would be way too little time. So 3 times going between the first 2 group of notes there. You got the 15, 8, 11, 14. So it's a hell of a stretch. So that you're going between the same frets on the left hand, but the right hand is switching between 15 and 16 3 times. You go 1, 2, 3, and then from there you're set up for the next part where your left hand is going to pull off on the same notes you just hammered onto. You move your right hand over to 17, and then you go the other way. So that's the first line. Whoop. Try and do that again. Whoops, I messed that up. Need to stay on that fret. Here we go. Take something. So that was the first line. Try it even slower. Whoop, here we go. Here we go again. And from there, you're going to shift your hand over to, let's see, you just tapped on the 17 and you hammered on your 8, 11, 14. If you look ahead on the beginning of line 2, you're going to do 20, 17, 14, 11. So you're kind of set up for it. You basically just need to shift everything over 3 frets there. And then you start all pull-offs. And then this next transition could be tricky. So you got, again, all pull-offs, 20, 17, 14, 11, then you tap 21, and then pull off 12, hammer 15, 11. So you here, and then you're going to go down a string, up 1 fret. So those are the first 8 notes on the second line. From there, you go up a string with the right hand, and then you go back to the 17, 14, 11 with the left. And then back to the same notes on the G string, the 21, 12, 15, 18. So it's almost like you're going back and forth with the same notes on the second line there. But instead of going 20 tap and then 21 tap and 20 and 21 again, you're going tap 20, 21, 21, 21. So let me play that second line slowly. Let's see. last line, because of the frets you have, we got to make quite a bit of a jump from those last 4 notes of 21, 12, 15, 18. Then we got to jump to 18 onto the E string. This is a huge stretch. 18, 12, 9, 6. I think just practicing going from the second line to the beginning of the third line is going to take a decent amount of time. So let's see if I can. Oh God, I can't even do that because you're going to do the hammer-ons and then the pull-offs. Yeah, that would be fret number 23 on the B string if we had the B string to use. That is why we have to make this big jump from the G string to the E string. Anyway, so 21, 12, 15, 18. I'm jumping to 18, 12, 9, 6. See if it's even possible. I think it'll be doable. It's just going to take a bit of work. One thing you can kind of use for reference is after you do the last 4 notes on the second line, your pinky's on the 18 here, so you can kind of use that as your guide of where you're jumping to on the E string. The hardest part, I think, is going to be nailing that huge stretch. Let's see. So finishing out line number 3, so the 18, 12, 9, 6, 17, 8, 11, 14, and then you're going to tap 21. I bet that pitch shifter, it doesn't have very good sustain, but you tap on the 21, so that comes in on beat 3. And I think on beat 4 is really where he hits the full bend and starts to vibrato. So it doesn't matter where you're bending from with your left hand. Basically, you're just tapping with the right on 21. Just make sure you keep good pressure on that tapped note. So line 3, nice and slow. Let's see. God, sustain is terrible. Alright, so that is, I think, probably going to be the most difficult part. Even though it's just finger tapping, those humongous stretches will be a challenge. At least they felt challenging for me. Maybe you have longer fingers, I don't know. But I would imagine that would be a challenge, as well as that huge jump going from line 2 into line 3. The next thing, really, I think it's fairly straightforward. All straight 16th notes, pretty much. I underlined the part of the count you're playing on for this 4th line. If you look ahead, you'll see on beat number 4, you got the 4 en, and then the you're not playing on that, you're letting that note sustain for an 8th note. But let's see. You guys, it's kind of like a similar pattern happening, because you got your pick, hammer, pull, pull, pick, pull, pick, pick. So that's the first half of this bar. This one's much easier to get down all that tapping stuff, I think. And then you jump down to 16 here, and you're almost doing the same pattern, Whoops. It's just slightly different on how wide you're spreading your fingers. So you get your 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and... I know I keep changing what direction I'm hitting that last note. Let me see. I'm definitely, no. So on the and of the two, I am doing down up there. I think because my hands know that I'm not going to hit another note right after that 18th fret, I'm just hitting an upstroke. If I was to follow with a different note, I would hit with a downstroke on that 18. And then you slide down to a different set of fingers. Similar feel though, because you're starting off with that, the pick, hammer, pull, pull, pick, pull, and then you have a pick, hammer, there we go. You want to pick and challenge, pick it all. That's a pain in the butt. Anyway, so the 1E and 2E and 3. And the recording kind of here, I'm starting to slide up into this next part, but the slide I would say is optional. I would just focus on getting the notes we know are being played before you start sliding. I mean, you're going to be sliding up to get to the next part anyway, so. Anyhow, did I think a similar feeling riff in the last song. But this is straight 16th notes, so I didn't underline anything because you're just playing straight 16th notes through the entire bar here. So slowly, this is what we got. Did I play that right? Yeah. Okay, so one more time. 1E and 2E and 3E and whoop, wrong note. 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and you're gonna roll your index finger into the next bar because you got your 16 on the B string, and then the next riff, the last bar we have, you got that 16th fret on the E string you're going into. And here you get it's real rhythmic. What the hell? That's the wrong note. So that part probably somewhat challenging to get the rhythm. So you got your 1E and a 2, whoopsie, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1, a 2E and a 3E and a 4 and, whoops, 4 and. More up to speed with the song would be something like oh goodness, maybe another way to look at that, the last bar, the first note you're hitting directly on the downbeat. The second note you're hitting right before you tap on beat number 2. Third beat, or sorry, third note is directly on the upbeat of 2. And then the fourth note happens right after you tap on the downbeat of 3. And the last 2 notes, you're just picking on the 4, sliding down on the and. So you got 1, and E, 4, and 1, and E, 4, and 1, and E, 4, and 1, and E, 4, and. And that is your rhythm there. Best of luck to you on this. That stretching was quite challenging for me. I saw a clip of them playing it live, and he's got the guitar propped up on his leg in such a way he's able to hit the stretches a bit easier. One guy I saw doing a cover of it. Hey, look at that, the headstock's right there. One guy playing a cover, he did a different kind of tapping thing where he used like 2 fingers on his right hand to get rid of that stretch, but that is not how the song is actually played, so I try to keep it as close to the actual performance as possible. Well, if you got questions, let me know. I figure we'll be going over this in more detail together next week. Alright, I will see you then.